welcome. This is John Alan Mollenhauer. Welcome to How to Stop Feeling Fatigued All the Time and Get Your Energy Back in 60 Days. If you can hear me, just doing a quick sound check, just type yes in the box. That'd be great. Taking a swig of my coconut water. I love coconut water just before a webinar. Questions. Okay, so I'm not hearing a yes yet. Can anybody hear me? Just doing a quick sound check. Sound check, sound check. Okay, can everybody hear me? If you hear me right now, just say yes or just type. Oh, right, perfect. All right, excellent. Welcome everybody to How to Stop Feeling Fatigued All the Time and Get Your Energy Back in 60 Days. My name is John Alan Mollenhauer, and I am the coach, performance lifestyle advisor, and your host for this afternoon's webinar, and I'm really excited to be here. I hope you are too. I got a lot of attendees joining in: Daisy, Ron, Wanda, Mariana, Bob, Julie. Welcome, welcome. So we're going to be starting here over the next 6 minutes. It's great that you're all here early. Says a lot about you, and tells me that you're excited to learn a little bit about this subject called personal energy. So I'm really pumped to be here. This is going to be about an hour plus webinar, and we're going to be talking all about personal energy renewal and ultimately how to stop feeling fatigued all the time and get your energy back. So it's going to be an exciting call. It's going to be pretty deep. So make sure that you're sitting comfortably and you're relaxed and you get ready to go. So we're getting started here in just a minute. I'm going to take a swig of my favorite coconut water in the world. This is the best coconut water I think I've ever tasted. If you've ever tried Harmless Harvest, just give me a quick yes in the box. That'd be great. But like, I have a strange relationship with this coconut water because it is so smooth and it's so rich, and it's just so natural. It's not pasteurized, and I absolutely love the way it feels in my throat and in my mouth. God, I literally treat myself to this a couple times a week. My wife, my son. So it's a wonderful experience, and I love having it right before I start a webinar. Okay, enough about coconut water. Welcome if you're just dialing in to How to Stop Feeling Fatigued All the Time and Get Your Energy Back in 60 Days. My name is John Alan Mollenhauer. My friends call me John Allen or Jam. So if you see some references throughout the webinar to John Allen and Jam, just know that they are the same person. You can see my name. You see how it says John Allen Mollenhauer. My last name, people for some reason just tend to mess it up a little bit. They can say Dwight D. Eisenhower, but when it comes to John Allen Mollenhauer, they tend to mess it up a little bit. I guess it's just the phonetics of the wording. So you can just call me John Allen or by my initials, Jam. So we can literally say this is officially going to be a jam-packed webinar because I'm leading it. All right, we got more people dialing in. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Great. We're going to keep this going. So I've got 1:56. We're going to kick off in just a few minutes. Get yourself comfortable, relax, shut the door, get grounded in yourself, take a deep breath. Know that for the next hour of your life, it's going to be all intake and increase, right? You're going to take more good stuff into your life, let go of anything that you don't want, at least for now, and that we're going to have the experience of increase over the next hour. So just double checking, just making sure everybody can hear me. Just give me another quick yes. Last thing I want to do is start a webinar and have nobody be hearing me. Believe me, I've had it happen. Talked for 20 minutes and then realized I didn't even start the webinar. It can happen. Okay, so we're going to, as I said, we're going to go for a total of about an hour and a half. At about the 1:15 mark, we're going to be really just dialing into your questions. So, but we're going to speak for probably a good solid hour. We've got a lot of content I want to share with you today, as this is a subject that a lot of people are talking about but don't really know how to talk about. So I want to really really open up your eyes to this new field of personal energy management. So I have a lot of information to give to you, and so stay attentive for about a good solid hour, and then write down your questions and keep in mind the things that you want to ask, and then we'll make sure that we get to them. I want to get through the webinar. I want to deliver the 2 instant bonuses for the people who stay the entire time, and then I'm going to get into all kinds of Q&A. So we're getting started here in just a few. Welcome if you're dialing in. Great to have you here. Lannis, Julian, great. Mario. All right. Not too many people named Mario these days. That's a blast from the past. I don't know anybody named Mario right this second, but now I know you. So welcome to the call, How to Stop Feeling Fatigued All the Time and Get Your Energy Back in 60 days. We're going to be getting started here in just a minute, literally just a minute. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you on. Welcome today. Welcome to How to Stop Feeling Fatigued All the Time, Get Your Energy Back in 60 days. Okay, it is 2 o'clock, and I am a firm believer of starting on time. So everybody can see the screen, How to Stop Feeling Fatigued All the Time, Get Your Energy Back in 60 days, with a beautiful quote from one of my clients, Heidi Katz. This simple course helped me to understand how to renew my energy effectively and stop feeling so tired all the time. That's what I want you to be saying at the end of this course. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you that opportunity to take part in what's called PERC. So you don't have to worry about me talking about any of that right now. Right now it's all about the top subject line, which is how to stop feeling fatigued all the time and get your energy back in 60 days. Welcome to the call. Thank you, everybody, for taking some time. Hi, Dave Brennan. Thanks for taking some time out of your day-to-day to hear what I think is going to be a really important message, a life-changing message that, as I like to say, it's kind of a coined phrase, but it makes me feel better about the whole idea of change. And it's called changing your life for the better forever. I mean, when something's going good, why would you want to stop it, right? So you'll hear me say that a number of times today. So I want to start with my big promise to you. In a Performance Lifestyle, which is the company that I founded, one of the first things that I show you is how you can beat fatigue and experience more energy through the practice of proactive recuperation. It's also known as renewing your personal energy. This is core to a balanced, in terms of required skills, right? Because balance is a term that most people don't even know what it means. So when I say a balanced, I'm talking about in terms of skills, and healthy, which is pretty much a given. Anything that you'd be doing that wasn't healthy wouldn't even be worth doing to begin with. Performance lifestyle. And what a performance lifestyle is, which is the name of our company, it's a way of life where you're living from a position of strength. You're prioritizing your energy, making sure that you recuperate enough energy so that you've got the juice to succeed in your life. So what this means is that with enough personal energy, you can function well, you can perform well, you can stay well, you can be healthy in your life, not just as a result of the typical things that we learn about with regards to lifestyle, which is nutrition and fitness, but to go actually beyond that and learn the core skills, the skills right at the core that give you that personal power. Now, I'm going to use a couple different terms throughout the webinar. And when I talk about personal power, that means something a little bit different than personal energy. But when you hear me use this, here's what I mean. Personal power is when you've got the energy, okay, to create an extraordinary life. A life that you have the capacity to create because you have the energy. And the energy is what makes it all possible, all right? It's when you know how to renew, to balance, to manage, to optimize, and focus the energy that we're going to be talking about in this webinar. So believe it or not, most people think creativity is simply like a psychological capacity, or it's a capacity that is based solely on physical action. But behind that thought and behind that action is a sheer force that powers it all. So if you stay to the end of this subject, I'm going to give you instant access to two very powerful habits. These are habits that you're going to want to master, which I have used without fail to help myself and hundreds of clients over the year overcome fatigue and begin to experience the levels of energy and health that they want. And believe me, I know many of you have just met me for the first time. You're really just connecting with me on this call. These are two master habits that will help you through even the toughest of times, the biggest of challenges, and the most overwhelming of overwhelming situations. There is no situation these two master habits can't help you get through with greater ease than you can probably imagine right now. So stay to the end because I can't wait to go through these habits. So I need your attention. For those of you who are here a few minutes early, I remember one of her names was Wanda and another one was named Daisy, right? You know who you are. You were here 15 minutes early. I need your attention. I need you to turn off your cell phones. I need you to turn off Facebook, okay? Because if you're serious about getting the results you want in life with more energy and confidence, the next 60 to 90 minutes is going to change your life. Now, just a little bit about me. My name is John Allen Mollenhauer. I really got started in the field of lifestyle because through nutrition. You know, nutrition was the big lifestyle subject years ago when I was into physical culture. One of the things we really focused most on was food. I got a degree from the Nutritional Education Institute. I'm a certified natural trainer, and I'm a professional coach who graduated from Coach U. I spent more than 12 years coaching clients from all walks of life, typically a lot of small business owners and driven business professionals like me, on how to live a balanced and healthy, what we call a performance lifestyle strategy. And I co-authored a book with a Harvard, that should say a Harvard psychologist, but it says a Howard psychologist. Well, Howard's probably a pretty good school too. So with a Harvard psychologist called The Curse of the Capable, The Hidden Challenge to a Balanced and Healthy High-Achieving Life, amongst other books. Now, this is why I actually know what I'm talking about, all right? Before I tell you anything more about myself, I just want to point out that I'm not talking to you as an elite athlete. I'm not talking to you as a person with advanced degrees. I'm not a best-selling author on some high-tech or deep idea, right? But that's just for the moment, because after what we go through today, hopefully I will be. I'm talking to you as an entrepreneur. I'm talking to you as a family man. I'm talking to you as a driven person who lived out of balance for a very long time and decided to do something about it. It's sort of like taking advice from a person who quit smoking and succeeded and is now helping other people do the same. In the process of peeling this big onion back to help you get the real juice on this subject, I've worked with some of the biggest figures in the self-development or personal development worlds, right? Of course, in between my entrepreneurial ventures. I've worked with people in the fields of consciousness and awakening, the nutritional field, the psychological field, and the personal development fields. People like Tony Robbins, Joel Furman, MD, who I was a business manager for, and helped him start when he was just first coming out with his massive bestseller, Eat to Live. I've worked with and co-authored a book with Harvard psychologist Arthur C. McCauley. You can see the picture right there. And I've worked with renowned meditation teachers like Jeff Carrera and Craig Hamilton, amongst others. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur, and I've been responsible for sourcing, developing, and building several businesses, from training businesses to starting a chain of gyms to actually starting a high-tech internet company. Now, throughout all of this, despite the outer appearance of having a quote-unquote S on my chest, I often felt fatigued and tired all the time until I started practicing what's called personal energy renewal, or proactive recuperation, and being conscious of living from a position of strength. It's what's becoming known as a performance lifestyle. In my opinion, personal energy was always my Achilles heel. I burned out many times, and it's what really reluctantly and ultimately prompted me to start a company called Performance Lifestyle, which I'm now very passionate about, because when you've got the energy to do things, life is pretty darn good. Performance Lifestyle is a transformational education, training, and coaching company. We offer powerful, expert-guided personal energy and lifestyle management courses that promote the balanced and healthy whole life performance that goal and success-oriented people need, right? It's where things really start to work in your life. So a little bit about my quick story, just so you can see a timeline. It's always really helpful to see what a timeline looks like. And just note that this is the simple version, right? You know, I started my first business at an early age, and this is all going to give way to the plot that I'm getting to here. I started my first business at an early age. I was the captain of 3 sports: football, wrestling, and baseball. You know, I worked, you know, in my youth. I went to school. I worked during the weekdays, plus I had homework and games on the weekend. And I just did what everybody else was doing. You know, by the time I was 19, I opened up my first gym business. I remember my mom saying when I left for college, you know, hey, John, make sure you get involved in something other than sports. So I did, and I became a cheerleader, of all things. Would you believe it? It was funny because I got a chance to cheer. I went to Montclair State College, and I got to cheer on the sidelines of people who I was the former captain of when I was at a Group 4 school in high school just a year before. It was pretty amazing. So I was engaged in bodybuilding and physical culture, and I was both going to college, running a business. I ran a gym. I was going to sports, and I was doing it all at the same time. And this was my first experience where I started to actually hit the wall. I thought something was wrong with me, but I just brushed it off, right? Like most people do. You know, you work a little harder, maybe get a little extra sleep, kind of brush it off and just keep going. By my early 30s, I was seriously on my way to burnout. I couldn't understand why. I was so tired all the time, right? I mean, my God, I was fit. I was eating probably the healthiest diet in the world, and I still could not figure out why I was so tired all the time. I used the same advice I used to give to my clients back in the gym days, yet I couldn't stop feeling tired. Finally, I had to do something, and I started looking for solutions. So I decided to solve the problem. Thing is, I didn't realize how much was involved with solving what I thought was just a simple problem, probably solved by just getting more sleep. It wasn't. What I found was shockingly surprising. I didn't give up hope. I researched, I studied, I bought every program there was to buy, at least that I could find, related to what I discovered was what was called personal energy management. This is actually the first time I'd actually even heard this term. And how to overcome fatigue. And before that, for years, I actually created the Performance Lifestyle before I actually really started lifting the lid on personal energy. All right, I had come up with 12 lifestyle practices that are required for a balanced and healthy, what's now known as a performance lifestyle. I literally spent months and years reading articles, books, watching videos, attending seminars on an array of what I knew were related subjects. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and the time trying to figure it out. It's not as simple as just telling people to do this or that, or to get out of this or that. Sometimes it is, right? Just get a little more sleep. You know, sometimes it is when you're kind of optimizing already a strong foundation. But for the most part, there are reasons why people don't do this. But once you have a solid grounding in what's called personal energy management, right, or basically a solid grounding in anything, then you can give those kinds of tactical advices. But until then, you really have to dig deep and understand what the dynamics are in play. Now, what I found was kind of surprising in this whole journey. The majority of market solutions turned out to be fragmented, just talking about one slice of the big problem. Some of them were totally outdated and filled with pseudoscientific facts when it came to increasing energy, right? I can't even tell you how many times I was let down because of solutions that, were basically impotent, that, had a couple golden nuggets, right? But they just kept us confused and bouncing from one sleep, diet, or fitness program to another. Now, I'm not going to say these were all bad because they were all really good, actually, and filled with a lot of golden nuggets, but they were missing the main pieces of the puzzle, and they didn't really get to the source of the problem. That's when I had an aha moment. There was no comprehensive program that actually addressed this issue of fatigue and performance. And what ends up happening is people are left to piecemeal a solution together by themselves. I'll say this again. Most people don't realize how big the solution to a seemingly simple problem actually is, right? They're deceived in a way, right? I don't mean that it's the intention of a marketer to deceive people, but they're deceived simply because they just don't get the whole picture. I mean, what could be easier than simply getting more sleep? I mean, you're literally doing nothing, right? But people struggle with doing that, and there are reasons why that happens. Now, once you know the solution, in retrospect, it's not that big. But when you're discovering it, especially when you're attempting to do simple things, it isn't that easy, and it gets frustrating. So in the process, what ends up happening is people just learn that one thing, and it works for a little bit until it doesn't. And then they're forced to move on again and find what's next. So all of our training here at Performance Lifestyle is about all the key pieces to the entire solution. You see, your problem today might be fatigue and being tired all the time. Your problem tomorrow may be about living healthy, and eventually it may be about performing at a higher level. Do you see that? Do you see how, what your problem is today may not be your problem tomorrow, but that if you fix one thing, another thing will get fixed? So this is why PERC is the primer to living a performance lifestyle, which is a lifestyle solution, right? So it's not just limited to diet, nutrition, or fitness, or personal development. It's about something bigger and certainly deeper. Now, it took me a lot of years to finally crack the code. It took me several years of research, experimentation, and feedback from experts and top research partners to finally really crack the code on what it takes to restore and increase energy. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you on this webinar training. Right? It's where the lifestyle solution to all of this starts. It's what you need to know to succeed. So after lots of research, feedback, and experimentation, the code that I have today, right? The solution that I have today, it's even better than what I've actually shared with coaching clients for more than a decade, right? In other words, once I finally made the personal energy management component of this the primary subject to teach the mechanics that are in play before you get into the lifestyle, right? Then what you literally learn is what you literally gain is the ability to change the course of your life, right? And this isn't something for most people, by the way. This could take 20 years or more to discover on their own, if they're focused on it. If they're not, they may not even realize it, right? Because they don't even know it's possible. I don't want that for you. My goal is to help as many people as possible overcome their fatigue and feel restored to help them avoid the next 20 years of pain and frustration, having to figure it all out the way I did. So imagine you never had to worry about feeling tired all the time, let alone fatigued. What would that mean to your life? I don't know about you, but if there's one thing I've stressed over in the past, beyond financial stress from time to time, it's personal energy. All of my questions that I seemed to ask that seemed like they were rooted in confidence or self-esteem or sustainability were at least in part rooted in whether or not I felt I had the energy to do it, to accomplish or achieve what it was that I was up to at that particular time, right? Just imagine what your life would be like if you focused on taking an approach to life where you had enough time to restore your personal energy. I mean, what a concept. Enough time to absorb and infuse your body with the energy that transforms your life, that is healthier, happier, and more productive. The one we hear so much about, but so few of us actually ever really experience and seem to keep chasing. To look at that legacy you want to live and leave, right? Would that make a difference for you and your family, right? Imagine what it would mean to your business, to your career, to your finances if you could increase your energy levels. So how would you feel on the inside if you knew that you had access to all the energy you needed, and I mean literally, right? And did not need to feel exhausted or tired all the time, that you could actually get over it all, right? And that when you were exhausted and tired, you knew exactly what was going on and what to do to get your energy back. And that is, in fact, what needs to happen, right? If you want to do away with all the emotional, sometimes catastrophic or addictive thinking, those that happens in our heads when we start to get really tired, those recurring thoughts that go with being seriously tired. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that inner voice that starts talking like things are falling apart because you feel disempowered through a lack of energy or power, right? I also want you to know that you can replace that with a language that corresponds with having enough naturally occurring energy, right? So that you're naturally more confident and more capable. If you were to be able to do all that, you would now have access to the unlimited energy supply, right? And I'm going to teach you more and more. We're going to chip away at what that energy supply is, right? You would also know how to renew, balance, manage, optimize, and focus that energy, right? So there's proof. These are 3 super busy people, right? I'm talking about people who travel internationally. Cindy here, Renewing My Energy, helped land and start a new career. Cindy travels all over the world. She's probably in about 6 or 7 different time zones every single month. I once did an event with her, by the way, out in Barcelona. I got invited to speak at an international congress of pharmaceutical companies. These are people who are they're going between time zones all the time, and boy, these people are tired all the time. And they paid me a lot of money to come out there and speak, right? And it was that when Cindy had her wake-up call, when she started to realize, oh my God, there's something I can do about this. I don't have to cover it up in with coffee and constant stimulants. I can actually do something about it by just getting smarter about personal energy. Matt Miglin, in a matter of 2 weeks, I began drastically improving my chronic fatigue. This is a gentleman who was literally publishing a magazine on performance. When he talked to me, he was so steeped in energy debt, he was actually getting emotional and having these crying episodes, right? He, in a matter of 2 weeks, started to learn how to get out of energy debt. He didn't even know what energy debt really was. And it literally changed his life. And Joanne, I'm now able to manage the precious energy to achieve my goals, right? She's now a top coach, right? And it started, I think, by her really getting a grasp of what personal energy and managing it was all about. So I have to say this, results are not typical. I'm going to walk you through the system, all right, of what delivers these kinds of results, all right? And it's because of the results that we've gotten that I've led a team that has created this 60-day experiential course so that you can take action, all right, from a position of strength, all right? I want to say a little bit, though, about the fact that my results, or anyone else's for that matter, are not typical, because the average person who attends any training basically gets 0 results, simply because they don't learn what they apply. However, I'm happy to share with you for free exactly what's working for me and others. That's what we're doing, all right? Now, the 4th point is the most important point, all right? This does not work well for people who are living from ego, who cover up what's true to look good, or think that they're more powerful than they actually are, right? Because what ends up happening is, the cover-up is one of the big reasons why people are tired all the time today, right? They just don't want to admit weakness, right? Or even admit that they're tired because they are afraid that something's wrong with them. I want you to keep this in your mind. Nothing is wrong with you, okay? Nothing. So here's what we're going to cover. How to avoid the 3 biggest mistakes most people make that keep them tired all the time. Why nutrition and fitness alone will not help you overcome exhaustion and fatigue. The 2 key principles you need to know that will change how you manage your energy forever, and how to identify the key areas in your life that are causing energy drain. And at the end, I'm going to give you access to a simple yet powerful strategy to go from fatigued today to healthier, happier, more productive in as little as 60 days. So I'm going to tell you a story, all right? And here's how it goes. Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to have it all going on and it just works? They're healthy, they're fit, they're moving forward with seemingly unstoppable energy, and apparently they appear, at least, successful in their business and in their personal lives. I'm talking about the world's best performing people that we all admire, like top athletes, entertainers, and that one indefatigable boss or friend that goes smoothly through the day. Would you believe that these are just 3 to 10% of the population? They're that rare, and that's why they stand out, right? Wouldn't you like to be one of these people? I know I did, because I was basically tired of struggling. So how do you join this 3 to 10%? This is a really big question. How do you get to that place where you're admired for how you perform and the goals you're achieving? Like, that's not the aim here, but let's just say for a second, you really wanted to get yourself into that place, which I think you do. This is a big question. And the answer I found is that it's all about your lifestyle. Foremost, it's about how you renew and manage your personal energy. And this is what I found out from really interviewing the top 10%, right? They renew and manage their personal energy in a way that affects their ability to stay healthy and fit. It improves dramatically their ability to function and perform well and produce the results that they want. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of results you get from just adding in an extra hour of sleep each night, or simply eating better, or exercising more, attempting to work even harder. You see, that's what the 90 to 97% do, okay, to deal with the consequences of fatigue. Instead of actually dealing with the root of the problem, right, that's causing chronic tiredness and sleepiness, headaches, dizziness, sore, aching muscles, muscle weakness, slowed reflexes, impaired decision-making, right? I mean, every one of us has experienced this, even during some of our best moments, right? Moodiness, such as irritability, weight gain, and lost productivity, right? What I'm talking about are the results you experience when you learn how to renew and proactively manage your personal energy. That's core to a lifestyle focused on achieving your goals. When I first discovered, I thought to myself, why isn't the rest of the population, the other 97%, practicing this? And by the way, this included me at that time, right? I knew nothing about managing personal energy. In today's day and age, we're all faced with relentless demand on our time and energy to perform at high levels as business owners, professionals, parents, and students and athletes. For example, my sister's a physical therapist. Let me tell you, she's got 3 kids, all of whom play soccer, right? So you may think only the kids have to perform well. My sister, the soccer mom, just ask her what her life looks like. My brother-in-law is a vice president at Citibank. He's on the train at 6:15 a.m. He gets home at 7 p.m. And then he has the same weekend as my sister, right? From game to game to game to game, all the life events, all the stuff you got to do at the end of the week, right? Just ask him about what his need is to perform well, because work and soccer is just the tip of the iceberg of what goes on in their lives. So life is intense. And the thing is, a lot of people are crumbling under the pressure. Relentless demand overwhelms us. It exhausts us. And it ultimately leads to getting overweight, even health complications. Hand in hand, it all wears you down. Unless you have a lifestyle that's working to support you and your ability to function and perform well. So I want to ask you a few questions. Have you ever wondered why, even though you're currently on a fitness program and currently eating healthy, all those foods that are meant to improve your well-being, maybe even get that extra hour of sleep here and there, that you're still run down, tired, maybe frustrated, and all that exhausted beyond belief at the end of the day? You might ask yourself, like, if I'm doing this, why in the hell am I so tired all the time, right? When you really sit and think about all the things that you're doing for your health that are supposed to make you more productive, have more energy, and enjoy every second life has to offer, you ask this question. I don't know about you, but I have, right? And me being a professional in the field, it was a little bewildering at various times, right? So do you sometimes feel like you're doing everything in your power to stay in motion, to stay healthy, to be successful in your professional and your personal life, and to ultimately be that ecstatically happy person like the media tells us we should be? But for some reason, and I'll underline, a reason you can't quite put your finger on, you sometimes feel like you're barely hanging on by a thread? Do you sometimes dread waking up the next day to have to do it all over again, right? And you don't know what to do next to change course? If you answered yes to any of the above, then I've got some bad news for you. Yes, there's a little bit of bad news before the good news begins, right? Chances are you've worked hard to be as successful as you are today. Maybe you've achieved more than you thought you ever would in both your business and in your personal life, and maybe many times over. And chances are you've been worn down even during some of your strongest hours, only to pick yourself up over and over again to keep going. You've always made a strong comeback, most likely, every single time, because you're a winner, even if you haven't achieved some of the goals that you set out to achieve. Blood, sweat, and tears is your silent but driving mantra. You live and die by this phrase, and you're proud of it. And frankly, you should be. But here's the bad news. Even though you make a strong comeback, each time you're worn down. You become increasingly tired with each successive round. Tiredness becomes distress, distress transforms into burnout, and you fall into that never-ending cycle of picking yourself up to give it another go, time after time again. And most people descend into this downward trend or spiral, right? You've probably heard of the term the downward spiral because of one or more of the following reasons. Now, before I tell you those reasons, I want to give you two quotes that I want you to keep in mind for the rest of this presentation. One, energy is the power that drives every human being. It is not lost by exertion, but maintained by it. I put the Ghostbuster cross out on this for a couple reasons. It's not true. If you rely on exertion to maintain your energy levels, you'll surely be a burnout. If you listen to Dr. Hans Selye, who is the father of stress in the world, as a matter of fact, he coined the term stress. Basically said, when we die, we've worn out the body. Some organ or organ system gives out. We literally wear the body out. If you stay in a mode of exertion all the time, you will be in line with exactly what Dr. Hans Selye is talking about. All right, so the three biggest mistakes most people make that keep them tired all the time. The first is that they're confused about what actually gives them energy and what takes it away. Now, I mean, this never ceases to amaze me when this is going on. I mean, I see it everywhere. There's so much information promising the sun, the moon, and the stars when it comes to increasing energy, and most of it is just plain delusional. Faulty information keeps people exhausted, forcing what is a never-ending downward energy trend to repeat itself, all because they never learned how to regenerate their personal energy and manage it. The second is that they believe the marketing spin. Yeah, we live in a gotta-have-it-yesterday world that moves fast. And marketing is playing into the desperation that this toxic combination of overwhelm and fatigue causes for all it's worth. The market promises you more energy, weight loss success, and the results of various kinds that just can't be achieved sanely in the time frame promised, and usually in the way promoted. The big guys, these are the big guys in the self-help industries, play on this desperate emotion with their commercials, their ads, and their propaganda, promising literally overnight what can't be achieved overnight. It literally is impossible to achieve within the time frame that they claim. Even if it was possible, trying to accomplish too much too fast without enough energy will drive you into a downward spiral that's hard to recover from. It then sidetracks your life, takes your eye off what's most important to you, and before you know it, you're getting focused on goals that aren't even real goals anymore, like getting more sleep, right? Sleep isn't a goal. We sleep so that we can achieve our goals. And while you attempt to hold up this house of cards, you don't have enough energy to do it. And then the third is that they get frustrated. See, this is a mistake because it's all built on faulty information. Because they never solved the real problem in their life that causes overwhelm and fatigue, they end up exactly, or not far from, where they started. Frustrated, confused, eating less of foods that aren't nourishing, exercising more, fatigued body, and pouring energy into more doing on top of an already too busy schedule. It just doesn't work. They simply hit the wall and wonder why they fall off the wagon. After some time, they're probably searching yet again for the next miracle, the next book, the next program that promises to give them what they want, which are the answers for how to feel good, to look even better, and to attain the success that a person naturally wants to achieve in their life. This cycle is great and necessary for people who are creating these products, but it's crappy for the person who's searching for help. It's not surprising that people fail to get the results they want and the results that they're expecting because they're caught up in, this is kind of a harsh term, but it's Operation Money Suck, right? In a market that sells one thing that will change it all, that takes their attention away from their lifestyle, and they spend their energy all over the map on impotent so-called solutions. Like, in other words, solutions that aren't even really solutions. Trying to figure it all out, they end up throwing in the towel and basically, and this might even be a heavy term, but basically living, slightly miserably into the next magic bullet arrives after weeks, maybe months, and even years. They give up trying. And each time they'll be a little bit more jaded, almost unwilling to put their faith in another attempt. And nowhere is this more poignant than in the area of energy. So it's not surprising that people fail to get the results they're expecting. All right? It's just not. Now, if you think I'm describing the unmotivated, right? If any of this sounds like you, I'm not describing the unmotivated, okay? You're in for a surprise. It's the most overwhelmed, exhausted, and fatigued people are the most driven people, right? And this is where people really start to go awry, right? If you've answered yes, then you don't yet understand what energy is and how it's affecting your health and performance. And probably it's about time you change course and learn how, right? Normally right here, this is when a person hits the point where they do what the market reinforces them to do, right? They turn to nutrition and fitness, right? I want to make this point clear. Nutrition and fitness alone will not help you overcome exhaustion and fatigue. This is subject number 2 on our objectives for this course. Why? Because when it comes to nutrition, eating is about nourishing and fueling the body, not about powering the body. These are two fundamentally different ideas. When's the last time you ever skipped a night's sleep? Think about this, right? Go into your mind's eye for a second. When's the last time you skipped a night's sleep but woke up to a nice salad or oatmeal or a smoothie, right? Or anything for that matter, right? And went, oh my God, wow, I feel so good, right? You just missed your sleep. You had a crappy night's sleep. When's the last time you ever ate anything, right? Maybe you got a little jolt from coffee or junk food, even healthy food for that matter, right? You might get a little rise for a period of time, but soon it wears off and you'll be even more tired. I mean, did you ever sit down to a bowl of blueberries and go, oh my God, I feel so amazing? It doesn't happen. It literally doesn't happen. So there are 2 types of energy, right? You've got electrical energy, which in the human body is from recuperation, and you've got physical energy, right, or food. Now I'm going to draw the relationship here with a car. A car has a battery and a car has fuel. Let me tell you the story about my wife, Marianne. When I married my wife, she had this Honda Odyssey van that we didn't automatically start driving because we already had enough. We already had a car where everything was fine. So we didn't bring it online immediately. So it sat in the backyard for a period of time. Now, this is a beautiful car. It was probably filled with premium fuel, had all kinds of features, and yet when I tried to start it after not having, used it for a while, right, it literally would not start, right? So the lights were dim. It was like, wow, 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 right? And then eventually it wouldn't start at all. Can you relate to this personally? It happens to all of this. But when I charged the battery and eventually got a new battery, it, again, was a dream car. Now, as basic as this may sound, as human beings, we overlook this distinction over and over again in our lives. Now, when it comes to fitness, exercise makes the body more efficient in terms of processing the food we eat, its use, and in the recovery of that electrical energy. In other words, had I been driving the car more and more, the battery wouldn't have burnt out. But the slight difference between the human body and a car is that when you drive the car, it actually charges the battery. In human beings, it's different. You can't just keep charging the battery simply because you're active. In human beings, you literally have to stop. So exercise literally stimulates the very energy we're trying to recuperate, giving you the appearance that you have more, but at the same time it requires a large amount of energy just to perform. So if you haven't already renewed enough of this energy, it makes you actually feel more tired. So what is the source of this energy that I'm talking about, that you need to renew, balance, manage, optimize, and focus, right? This is the energy that a lot of people are talking about, as I said at the start, that very few people know how to talk about. I'm going to explain it to you by sharing with you the 2 principles you need to know that will change how you live for the better forever, okay? Principle number 1, vital energy is the energy you regain when you recuperate, sleep, rest, etc. You don't eat or drink, frankly, anything, right? And your energy increases in most cases by doing nothing, right? It's electrical in nature, but goes by countless terms such as nerve energy, chi, prana, life force, Brahman, even mojo, right? That's a pretty common term. But again, when you use that term, it doesn't necessarily mean you know what it is the person's talking about. You can't see this energy. You can't touch this energy unless you're an athlete where you're doing power measurements. Matter of fact, they still can't see this energy, but if you talk to a cyclist, they measure their power through various tools like their power output with every stroke of their legs. But the average person doesn't know anything about that, doesn't measure it, and doesn't really know how much of this energy that they actually have. They only really know when they don't have enough of it, when they've lost it, right? So the thing is you don't want to confuse this energy with food energy. Food energy is the byproduct of the process of photosynthesis, right? Photosynthesis is based on the same source of energy that I'm talking about in this webinar, right? It's that same source of energy gives rise to the food we eat that ultimately produces essential fats, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and the phytochemicals that protect, fuel, and build your body. Food energy is not the energy that people are depleted of in their lives today. It's the vital energy that they need. And they're chasing this energy in every way, but the energy never has a chance to catch up to them. Meaning, if you're going all the time, you basically never have a chance to recharge. We're chasing energy, but the energy that we all have access to never has a chance to catch up to us. Let me give you a quick example in athletics. It's only in the last 10 years that enhancing recovery in athletes has become the strategic advantage. Nutrition and training alone do not provide this advantage. I remember a couple of years ago I was supporting a friend of mine who was doing an Ironman training, okay? And me being a performance lifestyle advisor, he was still packing at 11 o'clock the night before. I said, Howard, you have got to get to sleep, right? Oh, no, don't worry. He had just bought some amazing custom-made nutritional supplement at the time, and he thought that that's what he needed, right? He only had about 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Now, when you're getting ready for a half Ironman, that is a lot of energy output. When I tell you, Howard hit the wall epically. Now, because I was supporting him, he didn't want to give up, but I have to tell you, he was struggling because he was lacking power. So why is this all happening in our lives today? Because today we have access to more information and opportunity than any other time in history. And we have the ability to achieve our goals faster than ever before. But it gives rise to a dilemma. The dilemma is the busier we get, the less time we have to take care of ourselves, our bodies, and our lives. The less time we have to recuperate. And that brings up the second principle, right? To restore enough vital energy for sustained health and performance in a world that requires high performance, 5 to 6 days a week, personal energy or lifestyle management, which promotes proactive recuperation, must become a priority in your life. Right? Proactive recuperation means that you're consciously and actively tapping into the unlimited energy supply we all have access to. And this key practice becomes the primary factor that drives how you live your life. Right? This practice of proactive recuperation becomes the primary factor that drives how you live your life. What's not understood is the experience of this, how to disengage
deal with the recharging process and re-engage in your life. And to see this as essential to doing that, to re-engaging your life. Because what ends up happening is all the cultural stories and habits that are frankly designed to keep you going get in the way, right? It's all about knowing what's going on while it's going on. This is where people drop the ball, and it's why they remain tired all the time. They demonize the very process that's designed to re-empower them. And soon, for you, I hope, this can become a thing of the past. So we just went through the two driving principles. I hope you really got them. Now, the fourth objective of this webinar was to identify how to identify the key areas in your life that are causing energy drain. Here's the thing. Personal energy touches everything in your life. It's also affected by everything. So the key to identifying what's causing your energy drain is super important. Too many of us have so much going on, we're barely hanging on. Yet we don't slow down or stop long enough to resolve the unresolved issues that can build up over a period of time and create an energy-sucking gravity that wears you out. Remember what Hans Selye said, right? We basically wear ourselves out. So, here's a key tip that is going to help you identify what's causing energy drain. It's sensing preoccupation, things that you're ruminating and worrying about and that cause overwhelm, right? Overwhelm is created by unresolved issues that will drain your vital energy, okay? That will literally drain what's powering you. Let me give you an example. Existential questions like, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Most people don't even know, and I don't want to sound derogatory in this or condescending in any way, but most people don't even know what an existential question is. I know I didn't, right? An existential question? What did existential even mean? It's those questions that are going on behind everything else. The questions that are like, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Like, what's the, in a very common sense, you might say, well, what's the purpose of all this, right? It's almost like you're playing the game of life, but you don't know why you're doing it. Unsupportive thinking, right? If you don't know the answer to those questions, you might, kind of get down on what's going on in our world today and start creating stories, right? Like, oh, life's going to come to an end, or, we're going to get killed by terrorists, or, things that, are potentialities, but in reality, just drain your energy, right? And may have no basis in what's actually going to happen, right? So it's unsupportive energy that's just not accurate. It's based on insufficient evidence and limited knowledge. Overthinking things, right? I love one of my teachers, Jeff Carrera, he calls us, I'll borrow his term, he calls it, most people go through life as a thinking thing, meaning, can you imagine if the minute you woke up, you were always moving, meaning your body was always moving? I mean, could you imagine even making it past 10 o'clock? Most of us would completely run out of energy and hit the wall, right? Now, none of us would even think of doing that. We sit, stand, we do all kinds of stuff. But imagine your brain was thinking all day long, right? You'd be what my teacher called a thinking thing. Do you know how much energy it takes to think all day long? Oh my God. I mean, it's like having all the windows on your computer open all day long. Now, unresolved relationship issues, communications that are incomplete, things that you create stories around that may not even be true. That can drain a lot of energy. Work, unresolved work issues that need to be dealt with. And by the way, one of the greatest motivations to renewing and managing your energy is through the act of resolving issues. Why? Because you don't want to waste your energy anymore. Finances is a big one. And believe me, I have dealt with every single one of these areas, and I still do, right? And the thing that drives me to solve a lot of the challenges that I face, rather than getting mired in the problem, getting focused on the solution, is because I don't want to overspend my energy, right? So just imagine, with all of these unresolved aspects and areas of your life, just consider how much of your energy gets drained, how much unneeded stress is caused by unresolved issues. And most of us react to the stress because of this morass of unresolved issues in our lives that for the most part can be resolved when you're on the right path, simply because we are not approaching their resolution from a standpoint of managing our energy, right? And it just plays into a lot of the stress, and that's the reason why I think the world spends just a huge amount of money literally running on Dunkin', literally running on stimulants to keep going, because they've just got so many windows and unresolved issues in their head, open in their brain. They go through life as a thinking thing, and it's a tough situation, right? So you have two choices. You can either reduce the stress by making life changes, right? So that you're not overspending your personal energy, and start making energy deposits so you can get out of energy debt and start performing powerfully. I'm not going to kid you. This is the real deal. And because it's real, you'll succeed. This isn't like eat a can of greens that's going to promise you more energy. This is about, making the changes that are necessary in your life. You actually make a project out of it. It's actually quite fascinating, right? And, you start to realize that there's a way of life that will deliver all the energy, that will actually make available all the energy that you need. And you can do that when you make the right life changes on the right path. The alternative, is basically increasing your stress, because one of the reasons why stress increases because you just don't have the energy, right? It's not actually what you're challenged with or what you're doing. It's simply because you don't have the energy to meet it. And when you don't take care of yourself at the level that you need to. You don't take care of your life, your career, even your family at the level you need to. So let me ask you a question. I hope you're learning a lot in this webinar. If you are, just type yes in the questions in the little box there. Great, thank you. I'm glad to hear. This is fantastic. Good. So I'm doing my job, right? So let me just go over what we've covered. We've just covered how to avoid the 3 biggest mistakes most people make that keep them tired all the time. We've just gone through why nutrition and fitness alone will not help you overcome exhaustion and fatigue. We've covered the 2 key principles you need to know that will change how you manage your energy forever. And we've gone through how to identify the key areas in your life that are causing energy drain. So the question I have for you now is, who wants to take things to the next level? If you're ready, just type in the box, I'm ready. Because the rest of this webinar is going to be all about how to access a simple yet powerful strategy to go from fatigue today to healthier, happier, and more productive in as little as 60 days. Just type I'm ready. All right, great. Dan, yeah, Julie. All right. So in the next few slides, I want to introduce you to what is called PERC, right? Which is an acronym for the Personal Energy Renewal Course. It's the course that you want to take to master renewal, balance, management, and optimization, and the focusing of your personal energy. These are the fundamental core skills. Matter of fact, I used to teach Performance Lifestyle, the 12 fundamentals you need to know to live like a pro, right? To be that person in the 10%. But what I started to realize is that people didn't understand enough about energy management before we went into those trainings. So it was like getting people into business before they actually knew what business they were in. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to take your energy to the next level. I'm also going to be inviting you to take part of a select group that is going to join me for the next 60 days to learn how to renew, balance, manage, focus, and optimize their energy levels. However, I just want you to understand before I go into the rest of this, I have a limited amount of participants that I can accept into this program because I want to ensure I give each of you the personal attention that you're going to need in the next 60 days. So if you want in, after the following slides, don't delay, take action. Remember, the only people who get results from anything are the people who take action in the course. So let's talk about the big picture overview of what PERC is about. All right? In order to truly get your energy back, overcome constant fatigue, you need to get your lifestyle working for you, not against you. Okay? No aspect of lifestyle works for you 100% if you're suffering from low personal energy, right? Remember the story I talked about earlier. Imagine you were going to try to improve the way you eat, but you're not sleeping well and you're not really recovering well and you're just tired all the time, yet you're trying to assign, this expectation that changing the way you eat is going to solve that problem. And in fact, it doesn't, right? So this low personal energy is what we call personal energy debt. Now, there is a specific formula that you can implement to get out of energy debt and stay out of it in a significant way. And that is really what PERC is all about. Here is the formula. It's a 5-step formula from going from fatigued today to a healthier, happier, and more productive you. Now, let me explain to you first what a formula actually is. A formula is, I know it sounds like, oh, wow, it's going to deliver the results for me. A formula is a way to make a complicated subject simple. If you want to dramatically increase your energy and have access to an unlimited source of authentic energy, real energy, then you have to implement these steps in your life. This is basically, it's kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. If you want to keep the kitchen clean, then you've got to wash the dishes, rinse the dishes, and repeat. If your household is anything like mine, that process goes on all the time, right? So, like, have we washed the dishes, right? Got up into the dishwasher. If you want to have energy, then you've got to renew, balance, manage, optimize, and focus your personal energy. Trust me, I would not recommend anything to you that I have not done and experienced personally. I've literally used this exact 5-step formula personally and with hundreds of clients over the last several years. Hundreds of clients. And I have to tell you, I just didn't trip on this. I mean, I had to discover this over many years because, I would coach people and I would see what kind of results they're getting and I would fill in the gaps and continue to fill in the gaps, right? It's literally taken decades to produce what we call a performance lifestyle, and it's taken at least that amount of time to understand the underlying dynamics of energy management. So if you'd like me to help you implement this 5-step formula, plus get more powerful strategies, I want to work with you. What is PERC? It's the Personal Energy Renewal Course, all right? It's a 60-day training experience, and in this program, we're going to walk you step by step through the entire process of how you get your energy back by proactively recuperating. But before I go any further, I want to tell you what it's not, okay? This is not a nutrition program disguised as an energy program, right? In the world today, if you've read some of my recent blog posts, you'll understand that, most of the time when it comes to energy, people assign, they talk about fatigue and they talk about, being tired, and then they spend almost all their time on nutrition. And, it doesn't work. It absolutely does not work. So, I could talk, believe me, I've run a nutrition company, and I still run a nutrition company, and I know a lot about nutrition. But I can tell you, nutrition doesn't hold a candle to what proactive recuperation will deliver for you. So there are no, even though we're going to be covering nutrition, there are no shiny objects that are going to be sold to you to replace what actually needs to happen for energy to come back into your life. All right? Nor am I going to sell any shiny objects sold to you in the name of science. There's no need to buy an endless supply of supplements. There's nothing too far out that you can't directly experience. And one thing that you will absolutely never hear is the word boost from me or anyone on our staff. Believe me, every once in a while it pops in just because we're so used to saying it. But frankly, you shouldn't want me to say the word boost, because if I'm telling you boost, it's figuratively speaking at most. Because if I'm boosting your energy, chances are good you're getting more tired. So you shouldn't want any of the above. I also want to say that this is not a health or a medical program, okay? I am a performance lifestyle advisor and coach and trainer. I am not a medical doctor, and I will, throughout the entire course, be making sure that I point out where something is outside the scope, where you need to have a test made, test taken, or you need the experience of someone in a very unique situation that we're not qualified to handle, okay? We're going deep here. I know our limitations. I also know what we have the capability of doing for you in this course. So who's this course for? If you're a driven person who's suffering from low energy, being tired all the time, not feeling refreshed in the morning, you've fallen for the misdiagnosis of adrenal fatigue, right? Or potentially chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, you're dealing with overwhelm and exhaustion, or you're someone who's already healthy right? You're already feeling fairly balanced, but you want to take your energy in your life to a whole new level, right? Then Perk is going to be a game changer for you. You know, one of the interesting things I've discovered about what gets a person out of overwhelm and fatigue is the exact same principles and practices simply applied differently to the person who wants to take their life to a whole new level. It's really ironic. It's actually mind-boggling. But you know, certain things are just sold in such a therapeutic fashion that those of us who are really into you know, higher performance, right? We want to stay immaculately healthy and higher performance. We kind of overlook those things as if those are things we don't really need to address. But in fact, you do. So here's the breakdown of the 60-day course training. Looks very nice, doesn't it? I'm very proud of this. We've worked very hard on putting this all together. It's taken years. So here's the breakdown of the 60-day training. In Module 1, we're going to go through what's called getting free of personal energy debt. This is the primary objective of the course. Energy debt, right? Personal energy debt is the hidden variable that undermines all other aspects of lifestyle and the areas in your life that you want to excel at, but you just don't have the energy for. If you accomplish one thing in this course, and I want you to keep your mental highlighter out, if you accomplish one thing in this course, it will be worth the price of the entire course, okay? Everything else in this course from here would be gravy, because you will finally get aware of the underlying dynamics, okay, of personal energy debt, that hidden variable, that thing you can't see, can't touch. You know something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it. You will actually know what that is. And you begin being able to renew your personal energy and actually living in balance only becomes possible when you're free of energy debt. So this first module, I'm going to say it again, if you got nothing out of this course more than just getting out of accumulated personal energy debt in your life, it would be worth being part of the course. The second is we're going to go through the personal energy pillars, all right? The objective here is to teach you all the key energy management principles, or what I like to call precepts. These are ideas you need to know before something else makes sense. Kind of like learning about gravity before you step off a curb, right? In the world of personal energy, a force you can't see or can't touch, but directly experience, this is essential, right? If you can't see it, you can't touch it. You can only directly experience it. You've got to understand these concepts. It's kind of like the dashboard of a car. You wouldn't actually know what was going on in the dashboard in your car if you didn't have a dashboard. You need that kind of you need that kind of view. You need the ideas to be able to do it, okay? So in Module 3, we're going to go through REM. All right, now REM, as you can see on our sales page, I literally had this endorsed by the top sleep expert in the world, James Moss, who wrote Power Sleep, Sleep for Success, right? You'll begin mastering what's more commonly understood as managing your energy, all right? This is where you get the breakthrough energy discoveries that include but go beyond sleep. This module teaches you how to systematically apply sleep, rest, recovery, relaxation, meditation, and rejuvenation, none of which are synonyms, okay? I always thought they were. People use them synonymously, but they're not, for a steady supply of vital energy. This is where and what will make you more resourceful than you've ever been before, literally. Like literally, resourceful. You become more resourceful than you've ever been before because you know how to replenish your energy in the time that you have. Very key last statement that I made. In Module 4, we're going to go through the art and science of periodization. All right? Too often people get consumed by their schedules. If you're an athlete, for example, right, your schedule would be completely oriented around the results you want in your life. You'd be living for performance and whatever the roles you're playing in your life in the course of an athlete in whatever position, right? This is what periodization is all about. It takes the guesswork out of things. It gives you a flexible structure and builds in what you need to succeed even before the week or the month starts, right? It teaches you how to optimize your hours, your months, and your days, right? And heck, I could say this just about any module here. Basically, any module of PERK is worth the price of PERK by itself, right? Really keep that in mind. I mean, believe me, this isn't salesmanship. Just learning the art and science of periodization took me years to really get down, right? I got it conceptually, but getting it into practice took me a long time. So I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of juice in this course. And the fifth core module, the objective here is really big too. I mentioned earlier that we live in a world where we have access to more information and opportunity than at any other time in history. But the dilemma is, the busier we get, the less time we have to take care of ourselves, our bodies, and our lives. So the act of pursuing less for more is really, really big, right? Because we live in chronic overwhelm today. So in these 60 days, I'm going to make you so aware of what's on your plate in your present situation, right? That you're going to be so conscious of what's actually going on in your life, right? I love when people talk about money, like, oh, I don't really spend that much. And, they only remember the last 2 things that they spent money on. They don't remember the other 40 things that they spent money on. So most of us are not even remotely close to being aware of how much we actually have on our plate. So once you know this, you're going to have the fortitude to say yes and to say no where it matters, okay? So some of the benefits, you're going to add years to your life or energy to your years. You're going to dramatically learn how to renew your energy levels, and you're going to take them to heights you've probably never experienced. You're actually going to start to experience surges of energy, right? Something, I swear, I absolutely love when that happens, because the best things in life happen during the surge. You're going to be able to protect yourself from countless diseases that have no defined cause, right? If you look up a lot of the diseases related to energy, like metabolic disease, like fibromyalgia, like adrenal fatigue, right? You find that there are really no defined causes. They're unknowns, right? And it's because they don't understand the role that vital energy is playing in these maladies, right? So you're going to protect yourself from countless diseases that have no defined cause. You're going to improve your relationships and your mental state. I can't tell you, you can always know when there's a hiccup in my relationship. It's usually because I'm tired, right? I bet the same is true for you. You're going to learn how to renew your vitality and improve your quality of life. You're going to be able to take your health and your performance to a whole new level. After 60 days, you're going to have completely gone through all the modules that you will have taken and installed. And when I say installed, I mean you're going to install these because you're going to do things experientially during these 60 days around all 5 steps of PERC in your life. And these are the benefits. So once you implement these strategies in life, you're going to have a true foundation for health, for the body you want and the life you've always wanted. And that's why I think you should invest in PERC right now. I mean a literal foundation. Just think about how you would feel right now if you were infused with energy. I mean, it's hard to be depressed when you have energy. You can't really, it's hard to have a bad attitude when you're energy. It's hard to lose your outlook when you have energy. I mean, all kinds of things change. So when I'm talking about a foundation, I'm not talking about something ethereal here. I'm talking about building so much life force that you can handle anything that comes your way. And that's, again, why I think you should invest in PERC right now. So here's what you're going to get in PERC. You're going to get the 5 modules, the 8-week self-study program. You're going to get the daily lessons and exercises, all included. You're going to get live weekly Q&A on Fridays with me, a performance lifestyle advisor, one of the few, by the way, in the world, because performance lifestyle is a new idea. One of the big Equinox in New York City, one of the biggest like hotel, spa, and training facilities in the world, right? They have like 90 locations all over the world. Just came out starting to promote this idea because performance lifestyle is where everything is headed, right? So I'm going to be going through Q&A with you every single Friday to help you sort through your experience. I'm going to give you downloadable guides, resources, and checklists, and I don't mean in an overwhelming way. We're going to give you just what you need to succeed, okay? The rest is all about taking action, and the rest is all about asking questions, getting grounded in experience. That's what this 60-day period is all about. I'm also going to give you a private PERC Facebook group that's included, and I'm going to give you email coaching with me personally, right? This is only the second time that I've actually done this course. So I really want to hear everything. I've done performance lifestyle for years, but I want to hear everything that's going on for you. I want to work so directly with you that you get the results you want. I want to make this the tightest and best course in personal energy management that's available today. So are you tempted to try this on your own? I mean, come on, John Allen. I can go to sleep. I mean, I think I can do that, right? Nap, right? Listen, that's not what this is all about. The actual acts, let me tell you to you this way. I have a meditation teacher. Sitting down and meditating could possibly be the absolute easiest thing in the world to do, right? I mean, you sit down there, you close your eyes, seemingly, and you just let everything go and just kind of hang out, right? So, but that's not what's actually going on. It's all the distinctions, it's the nuances, it's all the things that take trained people tens of thousands of years. Well, maybe not tens of thousands of years, because I don't think any of us would be around. Tens of thousands of dollars, right, to learn, that make all the difference. And this is the reason why people throw thousands of dollars, because they want the level of awareness needed to be successful. So yeah, you can try this on your own. But for the amount of money that this costs, why not do it with a lot of help from your friends, right? I don't want people to have to go through 20 years and go through what I did. Think about it. I know people right now that spend 20 years just learning how to eat. I mean, that is a shame, because we know how to eat right now. I don't want you to go through that. I want you to be able to get this right now. So if you want to know the formula for what actually works and what doesn't, and not worry about spending another 20 years figuring out or spending your hard-earned money, then you simply need to get into this program. But it gets better. I've added a few additional bonuses for you. The first bonus is the Fuel Your Body Right training, right? I'm going to pull into this course the insights that I've learned from the foremost authority on nutrition today. I was former business manager for Joel Fuhrman, MD. He is probably the foremost authority on nutrition, a real groundbreaker in the world. And, I worked with him for years and made a lot of cool distinctions myself. I'm going to teach you how to meet your nutrient needs to fuel your body without draining your personal energy or storing too much excess food on your waist. This is a big deal, because approaching this from this angle is usually not one that you get. It's usually all about the nutrients that give you the energy. But I'm going to teach you how to actually eat so that you don't use more of your personal energy just to digest the food, right? So we all know what happens when you're tired and emotional. So, wasting more energy than you need is not what you want, especially when it comes from food. And if you've ever been through the middle of the day and you got a full stomach of food, the natural cycles that are going on behind the scenes, they get exacerbated because you're just losing so much energy through digestion. The second is called Fit for Power training. I'm going to share with you the key principles and insights you need to be fit for the power that is about to come into your life. Everybody needs an efficient body that has stamina, especially today, okay? You need to know how to train so that you're no longer exercising a fatigued body, but rather feeling like you're kind of riding the wave, all right? The benefit is that you'll never miss another planned workout again, because you're going to start to organize your training around your energy levels, and you're going to start to manage your energy around your training. So this is amazing. I can't wait for you to get this information. Next, I'm going to add in a third bonus, and it's the 1-hour training on personal liberation. Now, this is a really big deal. God, everything's such a really big deal. I think we've really put a lot into this course, because the stories we tell about ourselves and how we live our lives has as much to do with how we live and how much energy we have as anything else. Learning how to live in right relationship with your head, your brain, and your mind is also a major game changer. I'm going to give you an hour-long audio training on this. This is the basis of, and it's going to introduce you to what I covered in my book, The Curse of the Capable. Because if you can't stop yourself, and you're comparing yourselves to other people, and you got a story that just keeps driving you all day long, chances are pretty good you're going to have some difficulty managing your energy. And the fourth bonus is I'm going to give you an audio training on meditation. Now, if you stay to the end of this, I got 2 tips that I'm going to give you right at the end of this call that are going to get you started on this path of what I'm covering in some of the bonuses. But I want to make sure that you get started on these 2 master habits that will change your life for the better forever, right? So, meditation, it's not like you're just sitting and standing with your eyes closed and letting go of everything, because what this practice really opens you to is the biggest and most important lifestyle change you'll ever make or even could make. It reveals a posture to life that is bigger and more influential than anything else that I could possibly come up with that will promote lasting change, that's sustainable, and of the kind you want. So if you only got that, literally, if you only got that, it would be worth the cost of this training. So let me just go over again what you're going to get. You're going to get the 5 modules, the 8 weekly self-study training program, the daily lessons, the live weekly Q&A, the downloadable guides, the private Facebook group, email coaching access with me. You're going to get bonus number 1, which is the Fuel Your Body Right training, the Fit for Power training, the 1-hour audio training on the practice of meditation, all in the context of your lifestyle, and the 1-hour audio training on personal liberation. And I'm also going to include personal access to me as part of this program, not only through the email coaching and the private Facebook group, but through an action bonus that I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. The entire cost of this course is $497, and I've broken it down as well, if you need it, into 3 payments of $177. I'm putting this payment plan in place because I don't want anyone to have to write a significant check. This understanding personal energy renewal is so fundamental to life, right? Even though it's only $497, right, and already a low number, I don't want you to even feel the cost of this event. The only thing I want you to feel is your energy. I want you to increase that energy so that you can produce even more resources. And if you take action today, I'm going to give you a take action bonus. That's a 30-minute coaching session with me, okay? Now, I put $1,000 value on this, and the reason why I do this, I frankly could put $100,000 value on this, all right? For the first 50 people who take action, I'm going to work with you personally, one-to-one in a coaching session. I have so much experience with this, and largely because, remind you, I'm the reluctant hero. I went through this. I had to learn this to solve the problems in my own life. So I'm going to help you understand, sort through, and prioritize your present situation and circumstances so that you get the most of this course during the 60 days. So I'm going to sum it all up right here. Here's what you're going to get. The 5 modules, the 8-week self-study training program, the daily lessons and exercises, the live weekly Q&A with me every Friday. And by the way, I record everything, so if you have to miss, you'll get it still. The downloadable guides, the checklists, by the way. And checklists are kind of cool because checklists, you know, they just help you cut through the clutter, right? They kind of take away the I have to think, right? Because someone else has already done a lot of that thinking for you. I'm going to give you the private Facebook group, the email coaching access to me personally, the bonus number 1, Fuel Your Body Right, the Fit for Power training, the 2-hour audios on personal liberation and the practice of meditation. And when you take action, the first 50 people will get a 30-minute coaching session with me, a performance lifestyle advisor. And I'm going to guarantee this. If PERC, Personal Energy Renewal, doesn't transform your life and renew your energy levels, you will not only get your money back, but you'll get to keep the entire course for free. This is 100% safe because you're not taking anything. You are literally going to get so grounded in the fundamentals, the actual core fundamentals of successful living, that I can give you this risk-free guarantee because I know it works. Like the moon would have to not come up tomorrow. The sun would have to not come up tomorrow, and the moon would have to fall out of the sky for this not to work, okay? All I need you to do is take action and do the activities during the 60-day period, okay? So you're going to get all of this, all of the lessons, the guides, the PERC face group, right? All the access to me, the bonuses, and the take action bonus, all for $497. All you need to do is go to performancelifestyle.com. That's www.performancelifestyle.com/PERC. That's P-E-R-C. And I'm also going to include personal access to me as part of this program through email coaching, a Facebook group, and I'm going to devote some time to the people who take action on this call. I'm only taking a limited number of people on this. I really want to impress this point on you, not because I'm trying to just demonstrate limited capacity in the class, But as you can see, I need to devote and spend a great deal of energy into you and into your life situation. So I can't necessarily do that with too many people. So there's a limited number of people that I can even accept into this. And once it sells out, which it will in a few days, right, registration is going to close. And because this course starts in a few weeks, I have to shut down registration so that everybody goes through the course at the same time. So I want you, in this particular case, I don't care how tired you are, act fast, all right? Get in on this. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I've been wanting to teach this particular course for years, and it took a long time to bring together, okay? So just go to www.performancelifestyle.com/perk. You will get all of these features and my energy and all these bonuses. This is going to save you 20 years or more in your own life, because you're going to get on the right path right from the start. Enroll in the personal energy course for just $497 or 3 payment plans of $197. When you do, here's what's going to happen. You're going to receive an introductory email. Then once the course is started, every week you're going to receive new content uploaded to the membership portal that will take your energy to new levels, right? See right here? Right here. You see that? I'm going to point it out for you right there. That's the membership portal, okay? You're going to have access to it on mobile phone, on your iPad, on your computer, and you're going to have this amazing portal right now to go through the content of the course. So I'm going to be right there with you side by side throughout the 60 days, personally guiding you and answering all of your questions the entire time. I really think the Q&A, you know, let's assume I didn't even have a course. We didn't spend the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours that it takes to put a course like this together. Imagine we just had Q&A, like it was just you talking with me, and you were to ask a question, and I could literally spearhead, just like I did with the gentleman who was running the Performance Magazine, who, despite being a performance expert, knew nothing about energy debt and didn't know how to get out of it. That changed his life for the better forever. To this day, he still reaches out to me and says, John, I am so happy you did this, that you did that for me. We just talked on the phone and we got it solved. The Q&A alone would be worth it. So get started now for a $497 or the 3 payment plan of $177. Here is the URL again. Now, if you're still on this phone, I promised that I would give you my top 2 personal practices that I've used to help many of my clients over the years, and I'm talking about over the last 20 years, but really more so in the last 5 or 6, that have helped them not only overcome fatigue, but really dramatically reduce their stress, right? And since you're on the call right now, I want to give these to you, okay? I want you to just begin to start practicing them right now. They're very tip of the iceberg things, and I'm not going to be able to go into them in an overwhelming amount of depth, but I want to give them to you right now. If you're sitting at your desk, okay, if you're sitting at your desk, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to personal liberation and meditation, okay? And this is a beautiful thing, because I have to tell you, of all the performance lifestyle practices that I've learned over the years, you know, I remember a time when I was, you know, I really felt like we had the performance lifestyle model together, all 12 of those fundamentals. It took me over 20 years to assemble and put together for probably the first time in the market, right? Seemingly disparate ideas. At one point, when it was all together, I kind of thought to myself, you know, I still feel a little bit ungrounded, a little bit untethered. I feel like, you know, I'm up to these big things in my life. I'm doing all this that I'm doing in my world, but I just feel like I'm just not grounded in who I really am, right? Matter of fact, that was one of the questions that I struggled with a good portion of my entire life was, who am I really? Quick backstory, my father, you know, he was in an orphanage until he was 7, and he didn't even know who his dad was. So as a person, I had a lot of those issues to begin with, right? And that's kind of what got me on this path to begin with, because, you know, when you don't have that grounding, when you can't go to that place that is absolutely sound for you in your life and feel awesome, you know, it can leave you kind of searching and seeking and spending energy in all kinds of ways. So when I learned meditation, I have to tell you, you know, this was something that I knew was important, but I had no idea why. And I just kind of talked about it, but I wasn't really grounded in the experience of actually practicing it. So, you know, this opens a big can, and I'm teaching you this at the end here because I want this to point to one of the bigger realities that you're going to learn as we go towards the end of this course and go into what follows, right? But I'm going to give you a little tip of it now. Just sit right now and close your eyelids. Just close your eyelids, right? But keep your eyes wide open, right? I'm going to say that again. Just close your eyelids, but keep your eyes wide open. I want you to literally stare out there into what looks like a black cloud. It looks like nothing's actually there, but there's something there, right? You can look at, you can actually, if you're looking at the air itself, you're looking at that black space, you can see that there's actually something there. This is what's called the ground of being. And this, every enlightened master in the history of mankind has been pointing to that, right? Just keep your eyes, you're shutting your eyelids, but you're keeping your eyes wide open, and you're actually paying attention. And you're staring at what looks like a black cloud, like you're just basically looking at space itself. This is the ground of all being. Every enlightened master throughout history has pointed to that. Matter of fact, there are books out there called I Am That. And any person who is not caught up in thought anymore and not, you know, being driven by every single thought that pops into their head every single day is grounded in this. And that, when you hear somebody say, I am that, that is what they're pointing to. So what I wanted to teach you in this first practice is I want to teach you how to get to ground. And I want to do it immediately. I want you actually to experience direct awakening right now on this call. And this is an example of meditation. This is the 3-minute direct experience of the ground of all being, of what an enlightened person would say when they say, I am that. Now, I want you to pay attention to one thing right now. As you're doing this, notice you're not paying attention to all the thoughts that are going on in your head. They're not driving you even a little bit crazy because you're paying attention to the ground of who you really are. You're no longer paying attention to all the crazy thoughts that your monkey mind can generate in the course of a given day. Now just sit for a second in that experience. Just sit in that experience. Just look around. Just notice what's going on in there. There's actually nothing really going on and everything going on simultaneously. It's utterly fascinating, but I think what becomes the most fascinating about it is the fact that you get complete relief. So when do I want you to practice this? I want you to begin to practice this. I can't get into all the context right now, but I want you to begin to practice this when you're in the middle of an extremely busy day, when you feel like you've got so many logs on your fire that it feels like things are going to douse out, right? Like you feel like your flame's going to burn out. When you want to begin recharging, but you don't have time to sleep or rest or take a nap or go to bed or anything like that. You might be sitting at your trading desk. You might be in the middle of a big firestorm, but you want relief right now. This is the place that you go. The instructions one more time. You sit with your eyelids closed, but your eyes wide open, and you pay attention. And any thought that comes into your head, you simply let go. Okay, now that is a really, really quick introduction to a very profound subject, but it is one of the biggest habits, most important habits, and most influential habits of healthy, high-achieving people. Now, the second one is now I want your eyes to get wide open, and I want you to begin to start thinking again. kind of let all of today's stuff just creep in your head, and notice if you've got a story somewhere in your head. You know, oh my God, the call's going to end, and I'm going to go right back to doing the same thing I've always done, right? What I want you to do is I want you to isolate that story, some story that's going on. And when I say existential, I mean at the like down deep, really down deep. I don't care if it's a light story like, oh my God, if I don't get this PowerPoint done in the next 30 minutes, you know, I'm going to die. My career is going to end. It could be a topical story like that, or it could be something really deep like, oh, you know, I carved out this space for an hour and everything was fine and dandy, but now I'm back on my own. I'm going to go right back into this, you know, this melee that's going on in my life right now, right? Just grab a hold of that story, right? I'm going to teach you a quick 5-step process, right? Hold out your hand. Quick 5-step process. I go into this in depth in my book, The Curse of the Capable, right? Because the curse of a capable person is when you have a story in your life that is driving you a little bit crazy, that's preoccupying you, that's causing rumination, that's spending your energy through worry and doubt and indecision, that's taking you away from being completely present in your life, right? I want you to hold out your hand right in front of your face and use your pinky, right? And you might want to write this down, by the way. Actually, if you're righty, use your left hand and then use your right hand to write. Uncover that story, right? I want you to isolate and uncover that story. The second thing I want you to do is to discover what the consequences of that story might be in your life. And the third is to acknowledge how it's making you feel. So if I say, oh my God, if I don't get this PowerPoint done in 30 minutes, you know, my career is going to end. Discover what the consequences of that story actually may be. Like you might now not be able to be present, and you might actually miss your deadline, right? And acknowledge how it's making you feel. Well, it's probably causing you to spend tons of energy, probably causing you to, you know, burn out just a little bit more, get a little bit more tired, right? Who knows, right? And then recognize how that is going to distort your thinking. So it's uncover, pinky, discover, acknowledge. So you're uncovering the story, discovering the consequences of that story, acknowledging how it's making you feel, and then recognizing. Uncover, discover, acknowledge, recognize, and recognize how it's distorting your thinking. So in other words, how it's driving you a little bit crazy simply because you're telling you that story. It's overwhelming you, right? It's making your heart rate go up, and how it's distorting your behavior henceforth. And then once you write those 4 points down, uncover, discover, acknowledge, recognize, and change, I want you to realize that you can actually change that story. You can literally change that story. So your old story might have sounded like, oh my God, if I don't get this PowerPoint done in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to lose my career and my boss is going to be really unhappy. To, you know what? Wow, I just finished this awesome webinar. Hopefully you found it great. And I'm going to now just get present and centered for about the next 2 to 3 minutes. And then for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to get that PowerPoint done. I'm going to give it my complete presence and attention. And even though I do feel a little bit under the gun, I know I'm going to get it done. And leave it at that. Now you can change that story because you now know what doesn't work. So those are the 2 tips that I wanted to share with you. Okay? If you have any questions about the course, here are the things that I would like you to do. You can literally call me direct at 973-535-8750. 973-535-8750. I actually have an 800 number, but you have to forgive me. I don't have it right off the top of my head. But you'll get it actually on our website, right? But you can absolutely get in touch with me at 973-535-8750. Okay? So listen, I hope you got a lot out of this course. I hope that you learned a little bit about personal energy, what it is and what it's not, what gives rise to it, and what takes it away from you, right? I hope you got an understanding of the 5-step process, a basic understanding of the 5-step process, that whether you work with me or not, you've got to go through if you're going to renew, balance, manage, optimize and focus your personal energy. And when you do, you will have learned the 5 core skills, something that most people never learn in their life other than based on their intuition, okay, that they've never proactively learned in their entire lives. And then from there, be able to take the way you live to a whole new level. And if you ask any athlete, in the world, athletes are the only people in the world that directly link their lifestyle with their success in life. These people know how to recover, how to renew, how to manage, how to balance energy. They can't not be healthy because they wouldn't be able to perform well. And if you can't perform well, then you can't get the results you want in your life. I mean, if you don't get that, then life gets, you go into what's called a downward spiral or a vicious cycle. And I want to keep you out of that. So just go to www.performancelifestyle.com. Prowl around a little bit, read a couple articles, but get over to /perk. Get there, sign up for this course, and join me for the next 60 days. I think you're going to have an amazing experience, and I promise you I will save you 20 years. I will save you more than 20 years because I'm going to help you connect the dots that most people will chase their entire lives but never actually get executable in their life. You're no longer going to need permission to rest. You're no longer going to need to, wonder if you can. You're no longer going to misinterpret fatigue. You're no longer going to go through a lot of the experiences that may make you emotional and give you a black shadow behind your life. Your life's going to be bright. Your life is going to be literally unstoppable because you're going to be stoppable. You're no longer going to drive yourself crazy. You're no longer going to be living nonstop. You're going to be living intelligently. You're going to get smart about personal energy. So if anybody has any questions about this course, I'll be standing by from here forth, and we can go over some of those questions. I see that Julie's got a question. She's asking me about when the course is going to start. The course is going to start October 23rd. Okay, a few days before the course starts, as I said earlier, you're going to be receiving an email that's going to give you an exclusive link to the membership portal, and you'll be able to set up your member account. How long am I going to have access to this course? You're going to have access for at least 2 years and as long as the company's in business. And I expect it to be in business for a very long time. So no worries about that. Okay. When am I going to start seeing results? Well, you're going to start seeing results, believe it or not, immediately. I think immediately would like 1 or 2 weeks. You'll start feeling results immediately because what starts happening here is the underlying dynamics of energy management are going to start to kick in, and they will start happening immediately. And as I mentioned earlier, the number one result that I want you to get out of this course is to make sure that you get out of personal energy debt. Gotcha. Any other questions? Okay. Listen, everyone, have a fantastic day. I guess that we went a little bit longer. Oh, we went over by 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, I'll hang on here for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, make it a great day. Make it extraordinary, right? Extraordinary, grounded in the things that actually work. And live like a pro. I'll be staying on for just a few more minutes if you have any other questions. I don't see any others coming in. All right, we're good. Make it a great day. Talk to you soon. Hope to see you in Perk, and I look forward to working with you. Take care.